I totally forgot to mention, this one's got a kickstand. So, yeah, my bad. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and today we're going to be going over the all-new 2020 Ram 2500 Power Wagon. So, first and foremost, I do want to mention a big shout out and thank you to Larry H. Miller Dodge Ram here in Sandy, Utah for providing us with the Power Wagon. Check out their inventory in the link below. First, we're going to do a walk around on the truck, then we're going to take it out to see how it drives. Let's get into the video. Under the hood here, we have a naturally aspirated 6.4 liter Hemi that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Power outputs are 410 horsepower and then 429 pound-feet of torque. Fuel economy has not been rated by the EPA since this is a heavy-duty truck, but most owners report around 14-15 miles per gallon on average. Let's go over things on the front end of the Power Wagon. First and foremost, we got that massive decal at the top, obviously, since it's a Power Wagon. If we unlock the truck, you guys can see the LED lights. Then you do get the two accent lights above and below the lights. Fog lights are just down below, and then you've got the whole winch set up with a synthetic cable, tow hooks at the front right there, and then the Ram logo at the front of the grill. And then we are going to walk in so you guys can kind of see everything that's inside of here with the winch. So if you look between this plate right there, you can see the synthetic cable, a lot better than steel cable. And the main reason behind that is steel cable, obviously, if it breaks, then that part that breaks could cause a lot of damage to someone, whereas synthetic cable still can injure someone, but obviously the synthetic cable is going to cause a lot less injury compared to a steel cable, which can actually cut off limbs, which is really scary. But let's continue to the review. Popping around the side here, we've got 33-inch tires on 17-inch rims, and then you can see that this has a 2-inch lift from the factory, so it's quite a bit higher than a regular heavy duty. See all the off-road shocks right there at the front. 6.4 Hemi badging, 2500 heavy duty, and then you can see the trailer mirrors there off to the side. Ram Power Wagon on the back of the bed, and then you got the little side steps at the side. And then here's kind of like a side view, so you can see just the stance on this truck is absolutely ridiculous. Here is our key fob for the Power Wagon. It says Ram on the back of it, which obviously I put it upside down. My bad. But you got your unlock, your lock, remote start, and then the tailgate drop. So if we press the remote start function twice, that'll start up that 6.4 Hemi. Sounds really beefy. Press it again, then it'll shut it off, and then obviously press that function twice. That'll lower down the tailgate or unlock it, and not lower it down apparently. But anyways, we pull down the tailgate. Oh, it's because there was water on it. That makes sense. Bedliner throughout the whole truck. You've got the LED bed lights there on the side. This is a 6.4 bed with all of the Power Wagons. You got the cargo light up there on the top, and then the bed itself, super light, really easy to get up and into place. Now I've got the lights on in the back so you guys can see what the tail lights look like when they're on. Full LEDs. The camera's not doing it justice, so these are a lot redder, if that makes sense, than what it looks like on the camera. Black in the middle right there. Ram on the back, Power Wagon. Plug-in for towing on the side, and then the receiver hitch. And by the way, this truck isn't the best at towing. Towing capacity is actually right around 10,000 pounds, which is a lot less than a lot of heavy duties. Less than a half-ton Rebel, for example. But that's because this truck is not meant to tow. Now looking at the door panel here in the rear, we've got this beautiful black trim here with kind of like this gray padding. We've got this stitching with more padding here in this area. One of the door handles. Speaker for the sound system, and that speaker looks like the speaker from the Harman Kardon sound system. Now I've got the seats here in the back of the Power Wagon. Full leather seats with the contrasted stitching. And other than that, things are pretty simple in the back. You got little cup holders. These are all of the floor mats that come with the Power Wagon. It does come with rubber floor mats. Ice buckets, obviously, to hold all your beers when you're going off-roading. And no, I did not just say that you should go off-roading and drink beers. Anyways, you've got the storage under the seats. So there's extra storage under there. This is a little kind of like compartment tray that you can fold out for extra storage space. And then if we move everything out of the way, you can see you get a little charging station there with some power outlets, USBs, vents, all that kind of fun stuff. So we've got keyless entry here on the front, so one touch to lock it, and then unlock it, just put your hand on the back of the door handle. Before I head inside, I want to show you guys the mirrors. So this one has the trailer mirrors, so you can flip them up. Obviously it gives you better visibility when towing, but again, this truck's not really meant for towing. So anyways, opening up the door here, we look at the door panel at the front. Again, more of that leather with the gray leather up here, black trim. and all that. Memory seats, you've got all of your window controls, power folding mirrors. That is to adjust the outside mirror. So this would adjust just like the regular mirror. If you do the right or left and you press that, that'll be the little outside convex mirror. Another speaker for the sound system. And then here's the seat in the front. Now it says Power Wagon here on the side. Again, nice perforations all throughout. You've got the nice bolsters on the side with the stitching. Fully power adjustable with the lumbar support. Pedal layout just down below with the hood latch. You've got your parking brake here. All of your light controls. You've got the fog lights, cargo lights, and then the steering wheel is going to be manually adjustable with your power adjustable pedal control there on the side of the steering wheel. You start up the Power Wagon, put your foot on the brake, push the push start. It'll say Bedliner Wagon, and then everything will come to life. Here's the steering wheel in the Power Wagon. If we zoom in, we've got the Ram logo there in the center. Over there, we've got our controls for the cruise control. It does have adaptive cruise control, which is a nice little function. Your gear selector, stitching on the steering wheel, all the controls for the center stack, your voice commands and phone controls. It does have rocker panels on the back of the steering wheel to control the radio controls. And then you got your stock for the windshield wiper, and then also for flashing the high beams. Here's the center gauge cluster. RPMs on the left side. On the right side, you've got the speed. Fuel is also on the right side, then temperature gauge is over back on the left side. Ping-ponging you guys all over the place. But you can see that there's all the same screens that's on any other upgraded Ram truck. There's actually nothing too special there on the Power Wagon. Now I've got a 12 volt at the top, and then we've got the massive 12-inch screen, which is kind of hard to fit in one frame because it's such a big screen. But anyways, controls on the side for the climate controls, and then we're gonna head to the bottom with the parking sensors to turn them on or off, your tow haul mode, your stability control, trailer brake controls, and then obviously the analog controls for the radio. And before we get into the rest of the stuff on the touchscreen, I want to go over controls just around it, and then we'll get back to the touchscreen. So this is the gear selector to go through the different drive modes on the Power Wagon. And then you got your lockers. You can do front and rear or just rear. And then you can press that button, obviously, to have it locked or unlocked. You've got your hill descent control right here, and then you've got your sway bar disconnect. That's a huge thing that obviously makes it so you can't have a super high payload on the truck since the sway bar disconnect, and obviously the rest of the off-road suspension is going to do that as well. Bunch of little charging stations down there, and now let's get into this. So first things first, I want to go over the camera system. So if we go to the controls tab, we have a regular backup camera. So when you pop in reverse, it'll also go into this little screen right here, so you can zoom in on it, or you just have like a traditional backup camera, just like that. Nothing too fancy, nothing too crazy happening there. With the rest of the controls, the 12-inch screen's a really good system. You can see response time on it's really solid. The navigation function on it takes a second to load up, but once you actually are on it, it happens pretty quick with all of it. Dual zone climate controls are in here, and then note that you do get heated and ventilated seats, which we're going to turn that down. Satellite radio as well, and then you can drag and drop anything to that bottom sidebar, and that's all she wrote. We've got this center console here, and if we lift it up, little coin holder there with a charging station. Now closing up, you got the cup holders at the front here. It lifts up to be a seat, and then underneath it is extra storage. The only problem with using this as a seat is you've got the four-wheel drive shifter right here that would kind of get in the way of legroom, and then also this big hump as well, so that also kind of get in the way, but I mean, they do it anyways. Oh, actually pulled it out, but there's storage space right under here, so there's that little kind of like plastic thing that you can pull in or out in that area. And then finally, you've got the glove box, opening up both parts of it, really good, and you can see it says Power Wagon on the front of it. All of our controls for like the power sliding window, and then obviously the sunroof, which I'm not going to open because it's kind of snowing and raining today, but it is just a regular single sunroof. Light controls are up here, universal garage opener, and then it is a fully black headliner. Well, now that we're done going over the interior and the Power Wagon, I'm sure you guys are wondering what the pricing is on this truck. So this particular Power Wagon, stickers for about $67,000 for any type of market adjustment, which is pretty much as expensive as it gets for a Power Wagon, because this has, well, pretty much every single option. That all being said though, let's take this 2020 Power Wagon out to see how it drives. So this is normally where I talk about visibility, but I kind of want to show you guys how to get into the different modes. So to get into four-wheel low, you kind of actually have to pull it into four-wheel drive, and then you hear it go into four-wheel lock. Then you have to push it all the way, and then it'll turn off the stability control and go into four-wheel low. And then now you can use like the front and rear lockers, for example. So I can hold that down. And now front and rear axle lock in progress. Takes a second. And then that whole system will happen. And then also this is where you can do the sway bar disconnect. All you have to do is just press that button and then that'll all happen. So then you'll have, obviously the truck will be able to move a whole lot more since it'll be completely disconnected. So then you'll be able to be a champion on the off-road. But now that that's all done and kind of gone over with how you do all that, let's talk about visibility. So visibility over the hood, super solid on that's really easy to see out of. Both of the mirrors are absolutely massive, so you can see through all of that as well. And then you can see visibility throughout the rest of the rear. Very easy to see on top of that. And now we're gonna lock the axle back up and throw it back into two-wheel drive so we can actually drive on the road, because you do not want to drive in four-wheel low on dry pavement. That is purely for off-road use, and also the axle lock as well. So let's set off. Now, initially setting off here in the Power Wagon, the first thing I'm going to mention is it definitely has this like king of the road presence. You're just so high off the ground above everything that you definitely have that like king of the road feel. Now, in terms of ride quality, it's actually kind of bumpy for a truck. It's not too bad, but it's definitely not that like luxury, like super smooth truck that like the Ram 1500, for example, has. Now, actually getting up a little bit, in terms of the noise that comes in the cabin, you hear some nice noises from the 6.4 Hemi. Tire noise is pretty minimal, actually. Wind noise is pretty minimal, so the cabin's really well insulated. And you can see I'm turning here now. The steering on this truck is very light, but it's actually really direct for a heavy duty truck. But I do want to emphasize the steering on this truck is super light, like luxury car light. Okay, now we're gonna get an acceleration here. And don't worry, that's kilometers. By the way, it's not miles per hour. I accidentally switched it over to kilometers, so we're not going that fast. But yeah, acceleration's really strong on this. That 8-speed gears down really quick. And as I'm accelerating, you know, something I noticed is there is quite a bit of on-center vagueness with this steering rack. So definitely take that into account. But I expected that since the truck's lifted 2 inches from the factory. Now, to wrap things up on the Power Wagon, if you're looking for a crazy off-road truck that's a giant Rubicon, basically, and I can't say Rubicon with the truck bed because the Gladiator is a Rubicon with the truck bed, so this is kind of like your heavy-duty Rubicon. Obviously, towing capacity on it's not great, but there is still a ton of appeal to it if you love the Ram truck brand. And you want something that has a decent amount of towing, right? This can tow roughly around 10,000 pounds. The payload on these is about 1,500 roughly, so they're pretty well capable. Obviously not the best, but yeah, I mean, if you're looking for kind of like a crazy off-road truck, check out the Power Wagon. There we have it, everyone. The all-new 2020 Ram 2500 Power Wagon. Again, a big shout out and thank you to the Larry H. Miller Dodge Ram Jeep Cresta here in Sandy, Utah for providing us with the Power Wagon. Check out their inventory in the link below if you're in the market for a new Dodge or Ram. I'll see all of you in that next video.